Yo, what up dudes? Zenless Zone Zero is actually a lot of fun, and it's way more fun than I thought it was gonna be. Truthfully, it really reminds me of a fighting game, which is kinda crazy, a fighting game with RPG elements. I knew it wasn't gonna be open world, and I knew the combat was gonna be really fast, so it actually kinda makes sense. And I know on the surface they're completely different games, but just the way this game is set up, with how far I've gone in the campaign, where it's not open world but you're doing stages, the way the characters talk to each other and you just see them facing the screen, it just kind of seems like that's how a fighting game campaign would go, at least in my opinion. But dude, I gotta talk about this combat, bro. Now, I anticipated how fast it was going to be, but what I didn't know is how good it was gonna feel to pull off combos, stun enemies, and swap with your teams. It just feels so smooth and rewarding, and the team synergies are even crazier. Not only can you team characters up because they share the same attribute, but you can also team characters up if they roll in the same faction, which, in my opinion, as they add more characters, you're gonna have more variety of teams you can do. That also helps you against enemies because I'm assuming there's gonna be enemies that are resistant to certain things. So if you have two characters with the same attribute and you run into those enemies, if you have somebody else, your third character, that may not share the same attribute but shares the same faction, then you still get those buffs, and you will need them because it may not be so difficult right now, but I can definitely tell that once you get to the end game stuff, it's gonna get a lot harder. Let me give you an example. Withering Waves, when you parry in that game, you see a big ass gold circle, and it gives you sometimes between 2 and 3 seconds to get ready before you actually do the parry. In this game, the parry comes within a second. It comes so fast, and the circle is not that big to see. Now, as I've gone on and seen the same enemies, and the more I got used to the playstyle, it's gotten way easier to read. But like I said, this is only the beginning. It's not out of the realm of possibility that there'll be more bosses later on that'll have even crazier parry sequences and dodging sequences and all that stuff. And you also have to choose whether you want to parry or you want to dodge, because some characters do better doing a dodge counter rather than parrying. So yeah, the combat's really fire. I'm not going to say it's the best combat of all time, but it's still super addicting. As for how the game looks, what can I say? It looks really good. It's got that kind of comic book vibe going on. Even in some of the cutscenes in the story, it's like as if you were reading a comic book page. And to be honest, I kind of love how they went with that style. Some people might not agree with that, but it's all good. The characters aesthetically all look really good to me, especially Grace, wink wink. And the stage areas look pretty good too, just the art style. Although it's not as good as an open world and looking at a sunset with the sun rays just shining in your face, but still pretty decent. If open world is the main thing that draws you into a game, then this game might not be for you. I personally like it. That might be because I got Withering Waves on one side where it's completely open world, and now I got Triple Z that's based on stages pretty much. So yeah, I kind of like it. One con I can find about this whole game is a lot of dudes who have way more experience with Hoyoverse games than me say there might not be that much content in the game or future content. And honestly, that remains to be seen, but playing it for the first few hours has been a blast. And obviously that's gonna die down a little bit as time goes on, but I hope it stays at a consistent level to where it's still fun at all times. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope y'all are enjoying Triple Z as much as I am, and for you guys that are not enjoying it that much, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you for listening, and I hope y'all have a good day.